Hi guys, welcome to Talking News. Don't forget, we still have missing faces. I put them on here so that you don't forget. Also, hit the subscribe and like right now as well as that notification bell if you want notifications on new uploads. So today I'm trying to pull in and get this done. It's the Cupcake update. And like Malia Davis, we're going to start hitting a time where this is going to start moving a little bit slow. So this is the 3-year-old out of Birmingham, Alabama that went missing. She was playing outside at the Tom Brown Village. So this is the projects. And so this is October 12th on a Saturday of 2019. With another child, they were playing on the corner there. And according to her mother, she was in a bouncy house last she knew. That's according to April. And then her father, Devon McKinney, who really you could see him stressing out during this time she went missing. And so this little girl ended up capturing the hearts of America, and probably it went international. In fact, everybody wanted to see Cupcakes return home safely. So the two of them, the two kids that were playing outside, we see them on surveillance camera, which we're going to go over, but only one of them is found. So the mother has been dealing with a lot of judgment. Let's go over Camille's story. So at 8:30, she was abducted at a birthday party, and approximately 12:14 a.m. the next day, which is only a few hours after she was missing, they sent out an Amber Alert. So I want to show you this little clip real quick before we get started.
This surveillance video shows two girls led away by a man. One is Camille, the other is Long's niece. Camille's mother went inside.
She watching Cupcake play in the bouncy house. She go in the house 3 minutes. And she looked for Cupcake. She looked. And she said something went right.
Regardless of who took Camille, her mother gets blamed on Facebook for not watching her daughter.
She asks on the daily why people point the fingers at her.
So this mom is dealing with criticism, of course. I mean, we don't leave 3-year-olds out near the street by themselves, right? Most of us do not. But the way that they usually do it, a lot of people these days, is they depend on the older kids to watch the younger kids, as I've mentioned. And in this case, they were watching them. They just weren't quick enough to catch what was going on. As one of the child witnesses said, you know, they were playing hide and go seek out there. And when you tag the back of the truck, he said you win. And it's at that point that he said he looked under the truck and he could see this blackish, bluish truck and a barefooted little people's feet getting inside this truck. He also mentioned that these people were switching back and forth in cars. So thanks to this little guy who was a witness, which a lot of people are saying is Cupcake's brother, they were able to get on this case very quickly and find some answers. So here we are, October 12th, 2019. It's 7:24 p.m. in the evening, and you see the Cupcake and her little friend, which is Wong's niece, out there playing near the street, guys. They're not in a bouncy house. So according to Wong, they were supposed to be in the bouncy house, and only 3 minutes April was gone. Okay, so let's watch it again. So here we are at 7:24. We're going to watch to the very, very right. You're going to see that person of interest. There he is. He walks up to the girls. Seems like he has his hands in his pocket. And he walks away, and the girls follow right behind him. So it's at this point that the boy that's seen this happen is probably playing hide and go seek. And in between 7:25 and 8:30 is where they are, the child's being abducted. But I believe it's probably around 7:45, most likely, or at least 7:30, somewhere between 7:30 and 7:45. Okay, so this is all happening in the Tom Brown subdivision or village. And this is, remember, Saturday, October 12th. They find out that she's missing. And while she's missing, there's this guy that's in the area that is driving a truck that is blackish blue, which is an SUV actually. And they see this car in that area at the time that all of this is going down. So 12 o'clock a.m. we have a Amber Alert, but it's really not until the next morning people really start to understand what's going on, and they see that Cupcakes is missing, and they get to know who she is. So what happens next?
Birmingham police released the first photos of an SUV believed to be involved in Camille's abduction. And about 5 hours later, they released a picture of a person of interest. Late that evening, police announced they'd found the SUV at a condo in Centerpoint and took one person of interest into custody for questioning.
Now, police were able to get a lot of leads pretty quickly. They had a lot of people calling in with a lot of tips. So you had the kids that were telling you that they could tell you who it was if they seen them. You had the kids also saying, you know, what kind of car it was. So I'm going to show you what happened next in this story. So pay close attention, guys. Here we go.
At 10:30 in the morning, the police chief held a news conference announcing 2 people of interest were in custody, and they'd expanded the Amber Alert to surrounding states. Tuesday at 11:30, Governor Ivey issued a proclamation for a $5,000 reward. Then at 6 o'clock, police announced that 2 people of interest were being held on charges unrelated to the missing child. Today around 10 this morning, a large number of police swarmed an apartment complex off of Jefferson Avenue in response to a tip, but didn't find Camille.
Okay, so what tip are they talking about? Actually, it is neighbors that live beside him. They have seen this couple every day and never really suspected that they would do anything like this. And so here is an interview where one of them are talking, well, one of his neighbors anyways, about the situation. You can see in her eyes and her face that she is just absolutely devastated by this.
I haven't seen anything, but my daughter and son-in-law are there, and the man, Patrick, and his, I don't know if it's his wife or girlfriend or whatever, have both been arrested, but they have not found the little girl yet. And they were my downstairs neighbors in the same building with us and everything. They've been living there about a month now.
So that blue Toyota 4Runner that they've been flashing on TV,
that is definitely his. And they, if I'm not mistaken, I think they've towed it, or they're in the process of towing it now.
Yeah, we just saw it come out a few minutes ago. When you saw that vehicle, what went through your mind? Did you know it?
I knew exactly. When I saw the picture of him and that vehicle, I was like, those are my neighbors. And our neighbors knew it too, so they're the ones that actually called the police once they showed the picture of him. My neighbors went around knocking on doors. They called me at work to let me know what was going on, and they called the police.
So when we're talking neighbors, you're talking you lived in the actual same building?
The same apartment building. He was downstairs from me, one apartment over, but in the same building. There's 4 or 5 in the same building.
How surreal is this to turn around and see all the police lights, all the activity?
It's crazy. I mean, I don't even know. I'm just praying for the little girl's safety because, like I said, they haven't found her yet. I saw her uncle earlier and spoke to him. And they had no idea who these 2 people were. And the fact that they were living in my apartment complex, I've actually talked to the lady before, and to know that they've done that. So, I mean, it's just like, why would you do something like that? That's a 3-year-old child. I don't get it.
But you guys have not seen the child in the complex,
sir.
Right?
If I had seen the child, we would have called the police. But once, like I said, once they saw the face of him and the vehicle, they called the police because we knew that was him.
Were there multiple people living in that unit?
As far as I know, it was just him and her.
How do you try to go on in there with all that's happened?
I don't even know, because like I said, I've got a 1-month-old grandbaby up there too right now, and it's like, you know, I'm praying for the family that they get a safe recovery on her. It's just, this world is sick today. I'm sorry.
A few hours later at 4, the police chief made a plea to surrender the child at any safe place, like a fire station or hospital. And Crime Stoppers announced another reward, $20,000.
The Amber Alert now includes...
Speakers urged the crowd to be better parents and to protect their children. Cupcakes were handed out in honor of McKinney, and there was a 3-minute moment of silence in honor of her age. Many members of the community didn't know Cupcake, but still wanted to search for her and attend the vigil.
Now, everybody knows that Birmingham is not innocent as far as crime. We are aware that there's a lot of crime in that area. However, this community, although they're surrounded by it, have never really been impacted by it like they were by taking an innocent 3-year-old. So this was very devastating, and it shook them to their core. Now they realize that the crime no longer has these walls or borderlines, that the people that are around you are now people you can no longer trust. This is going to change this community, because this community probably functioned the way that they've been functioning for generations. Anyway, so back to who these two got arrested. So you got Patrick Stallworth and Derek Arisha Brown, which we all know she changed her name. So Stallworth and his girlfriend, who is 29, I didn't realize that she was only 29, were taken into custody that Sunday night after Cupcake disappeared, which was October 12th. That was a Saturday. So police really made a quick arrest. So this is after the police released surveillance images of the SUV believed to be involved in that abduction of the baby Camille. Police also had released surveillance footage of Patrick at a convenience store, so in that area, about the same time that this child goes missing. Now, I don't remember if I mentioned, but Patrick Devon Stallworth is 39, and he was charged with 7 crimes: possession of child images and possessions and intent to distribute those images. And this is some serious crime. This is not a crime or a person that you want within your community. This is probably one of the sickest and most evil acts in the world of crime there is. And what they said is those images were discovered on his phone during an ongoing investigation into the disappearance of Cupcake. However, that being said, authorities are saying that those images that they found on Stallworth's phone are not of Cupcake. So anyway, he had his bond set at $500,000, but he ended up making that bond and getting out. You know, guys, there's nothing worse. I mean, there's a lot of crime, and any type of crime is really devastating to your community. But what he had on his phone was just, it's probably the purest form of evil. So anyways, as far as Brown, we're not hearing a lot on her, and I believe there's a possibility, because we are hearing rumors that she may be making a plea deal, but I guess we will find out in time. The sad part about this is you have some people that are saying, which of course these guys are innocent until proven guilty, but things aren't looking good for them, that they are most likely in the wrong place at the wrong time. People believe that Patrick and Brown are innocent. They had several coincidences during this time, so I doubt that you will find that they are innocent. Well, one thing that the police chief had to say was, quote, "We still have a case that is ongoing. We've been able to link their involvement and activities around this case. While we are unable to move forward at this time, we are moving forward with charges that we have against them," end quote. Also, this is what they think happened that day. So during that Saturday, October 12th, that evening, the family was at a birthday party. We're not sure whose birthday party it is, but we do know that supposedly, according to a witness and the cousin of one of the little girls involved with this, that these two girls were in a bouncy house when April last checked on Cupcake. And she went in the house for 3 minutes. And then in those 3 minutes, somehow, she figured out something wasn't right. But according to surveillance camera, she was not in the bouncy house whatsoever. So the time that they're putting for Cupcake to have disappeared is around 8:30 p.m. that evening. But I think most of us believe that it was between at least 7:30 and 8 o'clock, and possibly 7:30, in between 7:30 and 7:45 p.m. that evening. And I do believe most people realize that she was not in the bouncy house at the time of her disappearance. Surveillance proves that. And so this really kind of hit some nerves of whether or not the mother was truly watching that child. But, you know, you really can't go back and change anything. All you can hope for is that people will let this be something to show them that you got to be, you have to watch your children closer. And for those of you just kind of tuning in, Stallworth and Brown were taken into custody Saturday night at Woodside Condominiums off of Robuick Parkway, after residents recognized Stallworth and the Toyota, which we did the interview of the neighbors that most likely helped identify these two. So right after she disappeared, the investigators did interview Stallworth multiple times, and as well as Camille's family. What's strange about this, guys, is Stallworth has no significant prior criminal record. But he pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor marijuana possession charge in Butler County in 2004. Stallworth was also arrested again in 2013 on a felony. And he was charged with possession of marijuana, but it was later dismissed. But we all know about a little bit on Brown's background. Hers is a little bit crazier. She had actually kidnapped her own children at gunpoint, and police chased her, where she crashed into a couple of vehicles before they finally were able to get her stopped and arrested. So according to what I found out lately, this incident happened around July 13th, 2018, and Brown was charged then at that time with 3 counts of kidnapping, second-degree assault, attempting to elude, and 4 counts of reckless endangerment. But get this, she could not be charged with kidnapping because there was no court order mandating that she could not have her children. Pay attention to who this judge was. I've got to look him up first, but remember this. The kidnapping charges were dismissed by a judge in November 2018, but they were reinstated January of 2019 when the grand jury indicted her on 3 felony kidnapping charges. She was set to go on trial in that case November 18th. So she's a little bit, you might want to watch her a little bit more than him. So one of the issues about Patrick and Brown is, did they have a connection to Camille's family, or did they just target somebody, you know, they didn't know, which most likely it seems that's the case. But a lot of people, if you look at their comments and you look around and you listen, you hear that they are concerned. Some people believe that Camille's family somehow were involved with these people, but I haven't found any proof of that whatsoever. So right now they've got a gag order on this case, so you're not going to be hearing anything. It's going to be shut tight, and it's going to be very hard to find out what's going on. So the evidence that they have so far is the videotape evidence and witnesses who are connected to the vehicle, as well as the people involved. However, they believe there are still other suspects out there at large. So they believe there are more people involved with this case than just those two people. So at one point, they did believe that Camille was still alive and okay, but we're going to move on and show you what happened. So firstly, guys, what do they have for evidence? Well, they had surveillance camera of his car in the area, and him at a convenience store around the time she went missing. Then what people are forgetting and you're not hearing about is the children in the area were able to identify that he was the man out there handing out candy to the children. And we heard the witness who said there was a man out there handing out candy. He seen him get a child with no shoes on and put him into a car, so as well as a woman. So they were able to identify these people. Yet Stallworth is saying that he cannot believe that people are thinking that he is the man that would do that to Cupcake. There is overwhelming witnesses that seen and heard and are able to point fingers. So it doesn't look good for them at all.
Along with the FBI, have located the remains of a 3-year-old child who we believe to be Camille Cupcake McKinney. Her remains were found inside of a dumpster, and they were recovered inside of a landfill here in Birmingham. We had been detaining all of the trash being collected from one area, and we found this evening remains of a child that we believe to be Camille. Tomorrow we will be screening warrants for kidnapping and capital murder against Patrick Stallworth and Derek Arisha Brown. Brown still remains in custody. Stallworth was taken into custody after we placed the last pieces of the puzzle that we've been working on for quite some time to make sure that we had all of the evidence that we needed to bring them into custody.
So right now they do face capital murder charges, and they are in custody without bond. So that's excellent news. And when I get time, I will put together a better video, but I'm running out of time, guys. I promised I would get this out, and that's what I did. But like I mentioned, you will not be hearing much from here on. It will be shut tight, and probably could be years before we hear anything else. At this point, they need to focus on prosecuting and bringing these people to justice. But it's hard to believe that there are people out there who are absolutely fighting for these guys and believe that they were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Who in their right mind goes to a party or area where they do not know children and hand out candy and talk to people's children that they do not know, guys? That is just, he's just being a friendly person, right? I'm not saying that people are not nice, because, you know, I've done nice things. But this is a man that was not invited to the party. He wasn't just walking around in an area where he lived. These aren't his neighbors. These are all complete strangers to him, and he drove to this area and just started giving out candy. So we're wondering, you know, is that what he purchased in that convenience store before he was seen there? I guess we'll hear where he purchased the candy and all these kind of things later, and we'll hear more details. But until then, guys, we've got to start paying attention to our surroundings. You're no longer safe within your own home. So before I close this out, I want to show you what the community did for Camille, aka Cupcake.
vigil.
It's hurt. I cried. I prayed. I didn't want it to end like this. Never gave up hope. Thought we was gonna find her alive. That's all I prayed. God, bring her home.
It shook the community to the core. Myself, it really disturbed me. Knocking on doors, walking the communities.
And no word yet on when Camille's funeral will take place. More vigils are planned later this week.
Now guys, I want to make sure that we send this family hugs and blessing and support, and I also want to use this opportunity to let you guys know that there is a gag order on this case, and so it's going to be a very long time before we probably hear anything. And also I want to make sure to ask you guys to check out the other stories that I have uploaded. I want to name a few of them. That we have Jasmine Robinson. She was pregnant from Archer, Florida. She was last seen sleeping in her bed. This girl, it's a very cold case. We heard that they picked up a few things, but we really haven't heard anything new on this case. So we need you guys to support this case, so that we can show them that we are interested in these people. You know, we're still looking, we still care. Then you have the missing 5-year-old, which is out of New Jersey. So Dulce was with her family at the park in Bridgeton. She just disappeared after playing at the park. It was out in public. So it's like another Cupcake. You know, these people, they're very brave. They feel like they can get away with everything. They just abduct these people in the daylight. I just don't see what in the world, how you could do something like that and get away with it. So check out her video as well. And so right now I will continue to work on the Kelsey Barrett update. I mean, that trial's just really getting juicier by the minute, guys, and we're hoping that we can get justice on this one. This kind of gets your heart beating, and it really you don't know which way they're going to go on this one. If you have not checked out the Kelsey Barrett case, please do. You need to check that out, because that one is just really crazy. I want to take this opportunity also to send you guys hugs and my love. I appreciate everything, guys. I know I was taking a bit of a break. This kind of stuff kind of plays on you mentally sometimes. I mean, there's just so many of them. It's heartbreaking. So I want to make sure you guys know that I appreciate each and every one of you and everything that you've done with me on this channel. We will be doing a giveaway shortly, so be looking for that. Alright guys, once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.